Hello, welcome to Lady Vinyl Gaming here on this Tuesday afternoon, just in time for Story Hour. For those of you who are new to what I do, Tuesdays at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Well, no, technically it's Eastern Daylight Time right now, but Eastern Time, we do a Story Hour podcast, stream, recording. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm recording it and it'll be on the YouTubes. But we do a stream of the game Vampire the Masquerade Shadows of New York, which is kind of a choose your own adventure type of game. So yeah, that's what we do on Tuesdays, and hopefully what you're here for. We also have, hey Tallulah, good evening to you. We also have a Sunday 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time stream of other games as well. Hello, Kittens Nerdy Gaming. How are you doing? So yeah. Last time we were doing Shadows of New York, we had become involved in a mystery of who offed the Anarch's Primogen, I believe he was, and found out we were also seeing ghosts that helped us to actually kind of relive the past. So let's jump back in. Nothing left for me but to head in. Still, I'm anxious. There are two approaches to choose from, and whichever I pick, I'll have to stick with it. If I force my way in and assert my authority, bad cop style, that should make an impression. Bad bitch coming in, with the entire court behind her, bluffing her way to victory. Sneaking in and politely asking for cooperation seems like the less disruptive, more me option. But it's not like being me has taken me anywhere thus far. Shit. I kinda wish I was still stuck in my routine, where I didn't need to be doing things like developing a personality. It's a bit of a coin flip, honestly, but I gotta make a choice here. Hello, I'm glad you identify as a tiny Evers. Off to the doctor for pain management. I hope stream goes super well. I love you. I love you too, kitten. I hope things go well with the doctor, and I hope they give you a good options that work for you. How do I approach double spiral? Yeah, being covert hasn't exactly been working out for me. Time to show them. And myself, I guess. Who's boss? As far as I'm concerned, out of all the companies in the world, this one deserves to be thrown out of gear the most. Time to be a bad cop and finally get somewhere. All right, let's do this. I enter through the front door. There's a guard watching the security cameras. He stands up, expecting me to state my business. Shut up! I'm expected. It's not hard to fuck with his mind. He gives me a confused nod, slumps in his seat, and zones out. I enter the elevator and press the button to the lowest floor. I pump myself up a bit as the elevator descends. Hello, double spiral. Time to make a mess. When I leave the elevator, I immediately head into the corridor in front of me and announce my presence. Yoo-hoo! Anybody home? Big bad Kindred out here. Better answer before I start making a mess. A pink-haired girl emerges from one of the corridors, looking quite angry. Probably one of Hope's ghouls. Stop right there! Who the hell are you? Julia Swaninsky, the Lasamba representative for New York City. Who the hell are you? I'm Natsia, Double Spiral's head of security. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. Wrong. You're gonna have to make me leave. I walk past her. She tries to catch me and stop me, but evading her grasp is child's play. Ghouls, I swear to God. Boss, we've got a problem. Some lunatic waltzed right onto the office floor. Claims she is Alyssa. The door at the end of the hallway is made of reinforced glass. I focus all of my strength and kick it in, interrupting the girl. Tell her I'll be right there. She's the only one I want. I reach the Double Spiral offices where, just like Kadur said, hordes of ghouls are slaving away for their company. Deep learning, spyware, social media manipulation, yada yada. The important thing is, they don't even turn away from their displays as I keep sweeping gadgets off their desk onto the floor, making Natsia madder and madder. Don't make me use force! Oh, I'd love to see you try, Ghoul. Even if you manage to put me down, I'd love to see you explain it to the sheriff, my direct superior. Listen, lady, I don't know what it is you want. I've already told you, stupid, I want your boss. She's not here. Kara Montgomery is taking a sabbatical. Don't play fucking games with me. I want to see Hope. Hey you, the goofy looking glasses guy wearing an anime t-shirt. Where can I find room 507? He raises his hand listlessly, pointing me in the right direction, prompting Natsia to kick his chair in frustration. I head that way and, eventually, reach the corridor I was hoping to find. I slowly walk to the end of the corridor. There it is, room 507. The door looks harder to take care of than the other ones in this place. Probably won't be able to take care of it in the same way I did the others. The door to the office of the current Double Spiral CEO. This fucking company. I get pissed off, but I'm trying to control it. There's a camera by the door. If she knows what to look for, she can probably see I'm here on her screen. But just to make sure, I knock on the door. Hope, I'm a Camarilla detective and I need you to answer some questions. Hope, I know you're in there. Open the door. I'll not leave until you do. I'm here on behalf of the Sheriff of New York City. Hope? I keep pounding on the door and calling her name. After a minute or so, a voice rings out in the intercom. Is this thing on? I guess it is. Alright, I got your message loud and clear. I'll meet you in the offices. I'll be right there. In the meantime, please refrain from making a mess of our offices, will you? Knowing poor Natsia, if she was due for a heart attack, she would have had it by now. Thank you for your cooperation. I'll be right there. What's up? On the one hand, clothes you probably reasonably expect to find in the CEO's wardrobe. On the other, a body covered in tattoos, flashy jewelry, dyed hair, and wild makeup. The thought she might be yet another CEO playing the nonconformist crosses my mind, but she strikes me as someone who's more than happy to live in her own little bubble. Still, I won't be fooled. She is the boss of Double Spiral. So, how did you find me? Sheriff Kadir Al-Asmei did. You'd have to ask him. I take out a new cigarette without thinking. You can't smoke in here, lady! Just let her. Don't treat me like I'm your enemy. I come in peace. Peace my ass! A deep, relaxing drag. Not my fault you couldn't handle me. I had at least 5 opportunities to subjugate you. I just chose not to, because I had a hunch the boss might benefit from seeing you. You trust your hunches that much? Hunches have gotten me every job I've ever had. Hunches saved my life any time I got into a messy situation. These days, the reality is too complicated to rely on anything else. Can't find a better head of security than Arnatzia, and her hunches are the main reason why. They're like a sixth sense. Haven't I seen you somewhere? Don't know, a club maybe? Yeah, last year, soon after I was embraced, I visited that one club in that refurbished warehouse, and you were there. You got a memorable aura. Yeah, I DJ and help out there from time to time. Gotta show my face if I want to make it big. And why don't you focus on that? Following that career path doesn't exactly seem compatible with being head of security for Double Spiral, and not just because the necessary skill sets are so different. Natsia looks at Hope. Working at Double Spiral provides a lot of benefit to someone who relies on the internet for promotion, lady. That slowed aging is just a nice perk. Lovely chat, girls, but I'd love it if you'd saved it for later. I'm CEO now. I have a lot of duties I must pretend to handle. I just need to ask you a few questions. Sure, yeah. Call me if you need me. I've got a weird hunch about this one, too. What gave you that hunch, Natsia? The way I made a mess out of the entire floor you were supposed to protect? Shh. We'll talk security later. Don't worry, this shit happens. For now, take 5. Natsia leaves, and I'm left alone with Hope in the corner of the office. It feels funny to stand here in front of you. Oh, and why is that? You people had me fired from my job before I was embraced. Ah, I see. You're that, Swaninsky girl from Lodestar. Yeah. Somehow I never put 2 and 2 together. So you're the La Sombra rep for the city now, huh? As she's talking to me, she keeps tapping at her phone with terrifying speed. I don't feel like I have her full focus, and it's getting on my nerves. Just so you know, I have no idea why you've taken care of Montgomery's place, and I doubt you'd tell me, but the bitch deserves to burn in hell. Hell yeah, she does! Wait, did you just admit... Hold your horses. No, Jesus, this is why normal CEOs pay for PR people to talk for them. I only agree that she's a horrible person in every way that counts. Nothing more. Does she know that's what you think of her? Why did she let you take her position in the first place? What? I will just cut through the bullshit, okay, Miss Lodestar? I guess this is about Jesse and Kara covering his creepy ass. You've spent months on this case and you'd like some closure. Pretty much. Well, here's your closure. Double Spiral has severed practically all ties with them. They don't work here. They don't get no company money. They probably wouldn't even show up here again. The company's not their circus anymore, and the workers are not their monkeys. I'm in charge now. So yeah, if there's anything you'd like from me, I'm all ears. It wasn't just Jesse and his sister. The company has ingrained structures of abuse and immoral. I've ordered internal investigations and audits. Everyone related to those illicit activities was disciplined. Legal actions, firings, and rebukes, all depending on the severity of their misdemeanors. I don't have a stomach for all that creepy corporate shit, so I'm trying to steer this ship in the right direction. Don't know what else I can tell you. For fuck's sake. No matter how I look at it, seems like she's done everything I hoped to achieve. The Montgomery clan is over. The queen bitch, a symbol of everything that's wrong with tech CEOs, is gone. Jesse, that perverted, embezzling son of a bitch, is gone. I should be glad. So, why is there a sinking pit in my stomach? This doesn't feel right. Probably not, but hey, I look at this company like the mafias in gangster movies. You don't really win by dismantling one. Another one will just as quickly take its place. You can only win by ensuring the organization gets the best possible leader. So in Double Spiral's case, the best you can hope for, no pun intended, is me. The biggest case in my professional life, solved by some weirdo who fucked Kara and Jesse over in presumably underhanded ways. It doesn't get more anticlimactic than this. Fucking hell. I want to ask her how she did it, but why would she tell me? All I can guess is she's an outcast who decided to get her hands dirty and obtain power to do something she considered good. Something I've always been afraid to do. Anyway, I feel for you, but I have a lot of work to do, so if this wasn't just a trip down memory lane and you have any other questions, speak now or forever hold your peace, okay? I feel like a car just ran me over, but I need to keep my shit together. Tally, thank you very much for the like. Right, a few days ago, the Anarch Baron was found dead in his office. Are you familiar with the case? Douglas Callahan. Of course I'm familiar. Every kindred online is talking about it. And what are they saying? They're accusing everyone. I mean, it is the internet. Are they accusing you? Why would they do that? I found a peculiar note in Callahan's remains. It had your name on it. Huh. What can you say about this? Nothing. I never met the guy. I've never seen him. He wasn't my crowd. Then why would he have a note with your name in his pocket? Why were Walt Disney's last written words Kurt Russell? No clue. I watch her closely, but nothing suggests she's hiding anything. Well, the note actually contained 3 other names, and nothing else. Agathon, D'Angelo, Tamika. Ringing any bells now? Her finger, which hasn't stopped moving across the phone touchscreen since I first saw her, freezes. Yeah, it kinda does, actually. It's a short list of promising unaffiliated kindred that was making the rounds in NYC a few months ago, in case anyone needed a hero for hire. I didn't know Callahan had it. I know Sophie Langley did, as well as a few Primogen. Not sure about the Anarchs. Who could have prepared this list? One of the local information brokers? A short but telling pause. Anonymous? How anonymous? Sort of anonymous? She's obviously conflicted about whether she should tell me, or maybe she's pretending, so that I worm it out of her. Making a mess of her office has worked, so might as well put on the tough guy act again. I have nothing against them, Anonymous, or it's in my best interest to hurt them, Anonymous, because if it's the latter, we might be in business. She briefly considers her options, then gives up. It's my sire, Carter Vanderwinden. Oh. He's brokering information? Everyone knows becoming the Prince of New York is his ultimate goal, and that he wants to make friends in all the high places. Sharing useful intel is a pretty effective way to achieve that. So you're telling me that he, a Malkavian Primogen, sold the list to an Anarch Baron? Sure looks it. Why would he suggest his own child to somebody? To have a person on the inside? Just another way to further his information web. Wouldn't they realize you two are close? The story going around is he left me alone and I hate his guts, so at least half of that is true. She's talkative. Probably sees me as a way to undermine Carter. Let's see how much further I can push her. Huh. I was wondering how someone like you could control a company like Double Spiral. I suppose a friend in high places would explain it. Yeah, lucky me. Seriously? You're not happy about being obscenely rich? Well, who gives a fuck about money? I do. A lot. A year ago I didn't have money, but I had something far more precious. She stares at dozens of displays on the wall in front of her. Do you remember the Y2K era internet? Jesus, I barely remember the internet at all. My people can't really use it. But yeah, I guess I sort of remember forums, GeoCities, browser wars, all those handmade amateurish web pages. It was a golden age. Everyone was welcome to freely express their creativity and obsess in this abstract new frontier. No formulated rules. Every site was a distinct new universe to explore. You know, as a kid, for some reason, I kept saving every web page that moved or changed me in some ways. I don't even know why I did it, but today a folder with these is one of my greatest treasures. Fast forward to today. I'm the boss of a company that has one overarching goal: steer the online narrative in every way possible that benefits the Camarilla. And because the online world is so fucked right now, I can do it using only 5 websites or so. Every day I deploy thousands of believable sock puppets to force some belief on the masses. Right now they're being managed by these ghouls. Soon they'll be partially managed by AI. Basically, an all-American version of the Chinese 50-cent party, a new pattern of public opinion guidance. Ever since I was a teen, I've pretended to be different people online for fun. Aping the posting patterns of others was something I turned out to be horrifyingly good at. I became even better at it after the embrace. Something about the voice of Malkav in my head. After several years, I became a one-person internet empire. I could impersonate anyone. A humble florist from Chattanooga who strives to share possible energy with their audience using photos of beautiful bouquets, motivational quotes, and the occasional The Office gif. A single mum from Brighton who reckons all these trans women must be bonkers and spends seemingly every waking moment of her life having a row with anyone who disagrees. A 19-year-old kid from Utah who keeps posting Y2K 3D renders of poorly proportioned, scantily clad ladies and telling his audience to remember what they took from you. Somehow this talent got me here, where it's no longer fun, but work. Work I usually entrust to these ghouls because of all my duties. I want out before my empire fucking mind gets monetized. But Carter won't have that, so I'll keep doing my best for both him and Double Spiral's investors. So that's why she wants me to look at him. I assume most of your operation focuses on New York City? A lot of them, yeah. How do you imitate a New Yorker voice with these sock puppet accounts? Living in Manhattan and being mentally unstable makes this shit easy. To a normal, well-adjusted person from outside the city, everyone here seems mentally unstable. Ever watch that 9/11 Howard Stern show? No. Check it out someday. It's educational. Ask anyone in NYC about it, and they're like, it was a great bonding moment. He was helping us make sense of everything. He kept saying what we were all thinking. Then you listen to it. And it's everyone yelling that we need to nuke something, and maybe the entire world, get rid of all the Muslim, fuck human rights, no investigations, take their order. Cheery. You watch it, you study it, you witness that specific brand of humor in the face of tragedy, and you understand that nothing outside of NYC really exists for the people who live here. Or the vampires. A foundational text, really. Whenever I need to get in that New York mindset for work, I let it play in the background. Works like a charm. Seriously, give it a shot sometime. Someday I might. For now, I think I'll confront Vanderwyden with what you've told me. Or is it that you haven't told me? What's the story? Me? Of course I haven't told you anything. You're such a good investigator. You figured it out by yourself. And if he asks, just tell him Kaiser sold you the information. That should do the trick. I see. Thank you. What for? I did nothing. Let Natsia show you out, and if you don't know Vanderwyden's address, just ask her. Thank you for having me, Mr. Vanderwyden. No need, no need. I'll be happy to assist your investigation in whatever way I can, Miss Swaninsky. That sickeningly sweet smile. In this office, spacious but oppressive, here's a man who knows how to subtly unnerve people. But does he even realize it? And I'm sure the presence of the esteemed Addison Payne will guarantee I'm totally transparent. Am I right, Addison? Looks like I've interrupted a friendly meeting. In the far corner of the room, I spot glasses of blood and two spittoons. Vices and follies of the rich. Are you sure I'm not wasting your time? Not at all. Busy as I must be, I can't say I'm not curious about the findings of this case. Yes, my thoughts exactly. So how are you handling your newfound responsibilities? I'm managing. I'll start by asking the obvious. Where were you the night Douglas Callahan met his, untimely demise? Vanderwyden raises an eyebrow, and then lets out a restrained chuckle. Hear that, Addison? I might be suspected of foul play. Exciting, isn't it? Carter, no antics, please. Just answer the question. Of course. Well, I was right here, just like I told Prince Panhard. As much as I love to celebrate my power, sometimes one has to celebrate the amount of work piling up on their desk. So your alibi is you were right here. Alibi? Yes, I suppose. Can anyone back up your story? Well, I did make a few business-related phone calls as I was working, so there's that. That doesn't really answer my question, does it? He regards me with a stare reserved for a troublesome child. Miss Swaninsky, this right here is my private little fortress, a space specifically designed to make me focus. I don't really let people in to break that focus. Aside from occasional esteemed guests such as yourself, of course, and a few wonderful Mexican women responsible for the cleaning duties. So you don't have an alibi? The look in his eyes screams, why don't you at least pretend to try and get on board with my program, kid? I suppose, but why would that matter? Because I found something that belongs to you on the victim's person. Pardon me? Took the words right out of my mouth. We're not talking a murder weapon or something of that caliber, of course. No, it was a short list of 4 names, unaffiliated kindred whose services could be useful to anyone interested in toppling the current power balance in NYC. Tamika, Hope, D'Angelo, Agathon. Excuse me, Miss Swaninsky, but I'm afraid I don't follow. How is that something that belongs to me? I have it on good authority that it's a short list you've been shopping around to anyone interested here in NYC, be it the Camarilla or the Anarchs. Addison tenses up, and his host is not happy about it. This is just preposterous. I'm calling your bluff right here, miss. No, the bluff is coming right now. Mr. Vanderwyden, if you want to voice concerns about the information I have, how about you voice them to Kaiser, not me? Addison turns to Vanderwyden, clenching his lips and gripping his wheelchair armrests tightly. For a brief moment, the ever-present smile on Vanderwyden's face goes missing, and the expression that replaces it reminds me of a horrifying void. Like a sneak peek into what is really going on in his soul. He quickly collects himself, but the image is burned into my retinas. To think these sorts of unsavory rumors are circulating around me, I should be grateful you let me know. So you're denying it? Of course I'm denying it, categorically. You can bet your life savings on it. I certainly hope it's nothing more than an unfortunate blunder. Et tu, Brute? Come on, Addison, we've known each other for years. Yes, and what about it? I will... Sweet Jesus, Addison, I will get back to you in a second. Any more questions, Miss Swaninsky? Any of the names on the list sound familiar to you? No, I mean, yes, this is my long-estranged child on your list, but that's just another reason why I'm flabbergasted anyone would consider it mine. I see. Well, I hope you understand why I'm considering you a prime suspect now. Yes, and I swear to clean my name as soon as possible. Scout's honor. Any more questions? I'm good for now. Sheriff Alice May will probably contact you later. I will get in touch with him myself, ASAP. Once again, thank you for your work. He extends his hand toward me, practically forcing me to shake it. Then he puts his hand on my shoulder to lead me to the door. All too eager to see me off? Out of sheer curiosity, Mr. Vanderwyden, I have one more question. It may be a bit random. I really didn't need to ask it, but I wanted him to die inside for a moment. Of course, my dear. His slightly strained tone suggests I may have succeeded. You seem like a person who couldn't live outside of NYC. By chance, have you listened to Howard Stern's talk show after the World Trade Center fell? A tad unsure, but once again carefully controlled chuckle escapes his mouth. Geez, this is random, but well, New York, born and raised, just like you said. Of course I did. Your opinion? Same as everyone else. It was spiritual guidance we needed that day, coming from the unlikeliest of places. A visceral response that verbalized everything we felt. A beautiful moment of unity. Not that I'm into lowbrow jokes about Pamela Anderson and the typical shock value the show tended to offer, but as far as I'm concerned, Howard did an indispensable thing that day. Why are you asking? No particular reason. I thought it might give me some insight into the kind of person you are. Well, that's the kind of person I am, just your average New Yorker. So it seems. Well, then I'll leave you and Mr. Payne to your plans of conquering the city. Conquering the... Now that's spicy. Addison, I love this girl. She's gonna go far, I'm telling you. She's got that spunk, that glint in her eye. Goodbye, Miss Swaninsky. I wish you a pleasant respite and success, and a swift success in your investigation. Good night. I make it a point to bow to Addison's servant. Not the man himself. Doubt he even noticed, but at least these invisible displays of rebellion make me feel a little better about myself. All right. The faster I leave, the better. Julia. Father? How are you holding up? I'm fine, stumbling around and hoping for a miracle to happen, like always. No better place to ask for a miracle than behind these gates, you know. So I hear. As I pass him the report about Asling and Agathon, I look around, but Benoit is nowhere to be seen. So, where's that clown? You mean Benoit? You're the one who said it, not me. And another petter's taking care of personal issues for me. Thought you might appreciate that. God, I really do. Listen, can't you think of something to placate him? Placate him how, exactly? Benoit won't accept anything less than me joining a convent. He's like a worried parent. A basic gesture here and there, showing up at church from time to time and pretending to listen would get him off your case. I mean, I've been through this song and dance before with my own worried parents when I was a teenager, wandering in the forest until Mass was over, not even being able to smoke because they'd pick up the scent. Not the best moment of my life, you know. And a part of the reason I'm distancing myself from them, I don't need this fake energy in my life. And I'm honestly weirded out by you asking me to lie. I'm not asking you to lie, Julia. Let me ask you this way. Are you a spiritual person? I guess I am, kind of. Always was. Suddenly being able to see ghosts did not change a thing. I think it's mostly because seeing the world as purely material seemed boring to me somehow. You are, and you were raised Catholic, so can't you find a way to express that spirituality in our church? I don't see a way right now. And why is that? I sigh. Too many people who think my soul needs to be saved because I live with a woman, for starters? I don't know. There's a lot of reasons. Like the sin of drinking blood every other night, or feeling some primal fear whenever I walk by a clergyman whose faith seems to actually be genuine. That one sounds like an excuse. It's all about your relationship with God, not other people. In theory, but back in the old country, I've heard my share of homilies that felt like complete condemnations of my kind, and none that would condemn hate toward people like me. And you know, when church-adjacent people try to stir shit around your very existence every few months, some minimal support would be appreciated. Sorry, all you can count on is silent complicity. I get it. I know there's a lot of work to be done, and a lot of undeserving hurt going around, but... Listen, I don't even want to talk about it. I fucking hate the tone I use when I talk about it. I sound preacher than those preachers, and my biggest dream is to just not give a shit. But I remember things, like this story about a guy from my hometown, most macho guy around with a jaw you could sharpen a knife on. He became an actor in Warsaw, very successful, deservingly so. The capital might not be NYC, but it's still a big city, and big cities go to the heads of bumpkins like us. In his case, it resulted in a dream coming out to his parents. He was surrounded by all these stories of openly queer people. Played one even, so he thought he had a chance making it work. So he goes back to his town, tells everyone he's going to live his truth. His dad, a ruling party-adjacent businessman, curses him. His uncle takes him into the bushes and starts to destroy him physically. It's so bad he gets put in the ICU. His face and jaw get ruined. For good. Fast forward a year or two, with his career over, the guy is stuck in his parents' rustic house. With no other path to follow, he turns to God, who tells him to forgive his kin. Everything is fine again. Angelic choirs sing to divine mercy. A kind-looking priest talks about protecting our families. A man sits in the front row of the church, a disfigured smile on his face. But that story alone didn't drive me away. One time when I saw how blissful he was, I could swear he was actually able to hear God whispering to him. He looked like a saint. It fucked me up so bad, I left. I feel nauseated now. Maybe I'm still reeling from hearing about Kara and Jesse Montgomery. Now, if we could never talk about it again, that'd be great. I know that I tend to sound like a loser who loves to pontificate about shit I can't change, but at least I keep trying to change myself, damn it. I won't offer empty platitudes, but I think I understand what I was meant to understand. I hope I haven't insulted you in any way. Whatever. I've learned not to hold people responsible for what the rest of their organization is doing. It'd be hard looking in the mirror otherwise. Not that there's much I could see in the mirror right now. I'm just wondering about one thing. There's always a cross on your chest. I like how it goes with my outfit. Is it just a fashionable accessory to you? Have a good night, Father. I find her sitting in bed, scrolling through Pinterest on her phone. So how you doing, detective? I fall on the bed, burying my face in the pillows, and scream. That bad, huh? I don't want to tell her about Double Spiral. I still have to figure out how I feel about it. I'm just not cut out for this. Oh, shut up. If you aren't, who is? Sherlock Holmes? Hercule Poirot? Columbo? Mads Mikkelsen's boyfriend from Hannibal, whatever his name was? I don't know. Someone who can actually put two and two together? You can't fool me into believing you're incompetent, you dumbass. I've read your articles. Don't pretend you suddenly forgot how to do your job. I haven't, but I've got no evidence, no witnesses, no promising leads, nothing. I just stumble around assuming things, talking big, blah. So you're like, I don't know, Jack Nicholson in Chinatown, and he actually solved this case. And then wished he never took it up. Was that supposed to cheer me up? I'm just saying that the situation you're in sounds an awful lot like Chinatown. Depraved elites, big plans for the city, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and that's depressing. It is what it is. I just think you should approach it this same way and look for a solution to your problems outside of the box. Not as a mystery, but maybe like a trap to escape. Maybe? I throw myself on the bed again and lie there for a bit, staring at the ceiling. Then I approach Dakota from behind and tug her sleeve to draw her attention. Psst, hey. Put the phone away. Now? Come on, Jules. We can't do this every night. I've got my own work and I need to worry about anemia. You said so yourself. Besides, I was just looking for inspiration. I rub against her clothes with my face, like a cat. You're impossible. Haven't you noticed what's going on in the news? People are absolutely insane about this virus, canceling trips and orders and... Pretty please? I can't, honey. I have to replenish my stash, and besides, I'm worried about overuse. My brain is working a bit too slow. My balance is off. I was just thinking how I miss meditation. She's given me clear signals. She just wants an excuse. And even though it would be the responsible thing to do, I know she's insatiable. She's usually the one who takes the initiative. Let's try a final push. I bite her ear and whisper in it. No drugs tonight. Let's do this raw. She throws her hands up in the air. Victory. Jesus, you're greedy these days. Always have been. Haven't you noticed? We're going to do the rest. Because getting caught in the daylight is absolute death. Oh, you're up early. Yeah, told you got work to do. I stretch. That's admirable. Reminds me of the one quote you always used to throw around. A lot of people say you can't smoke dope and get drunk when you got kids, and that's not true. You can, but you still got to get up in the morning. That's being responsible. That's the one. I never understood why it was so hilarious to you. Neither did I. I just accepted the mystery and made it my personal credo. I'm a responsible person. Are you planning to have kids? Not in a million years. By the way, you've got mail. An envelope by the door. It's from Kadir. Inside is a message saying he won't be able to make it tonight, but will rendezvous tomorrow to meet D'Angelo. He wants me to lay low until then, and to stay in this apartment if possible. Apparently, nobody knows where Tamika is. They only know she's in trouble, and he doesn't want me near it. Well, what is it? Um, uh, Sorry, it's a top secret? Shit, I almost caught myself putting you at risk. Phew. Anyway, I should get going. It would be fun to spend more time together, you know. Dakota, you know this is important to me. I know, but I'd like to know I'm important to you as well. That makes two of us. Just a few more days. I'll find the killer, kick his ass, get promotion, and then we'll do something we've never done before. Like what? Good question. I'll think of something. For now, catch up with your work. I need to get going. Fine. Good luck. Stay safe. You know it. This place is weirdly empty tonight. Oh well. I'll have the usual. I feel there's a big what are we doing in this relationship talk coming if I don't change my ways. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised it hasn't happened already. But most of the time, Dakota has seemed happy enough just listening to the stories of my own life. Even if it's all boring and normal to me, it's exotic and engrossing to her. Guess I have that going for me. Oh well. I have no idea what to do tonight, so I'll just do the obvious thing and wing it. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right through the very heart of it, or however it went. Time to lose myself in these busy streets and pray that the answers I'm looking for are out there. And if they're not, maybe I'll at least find some amusement or blood instead. Solve that thing with Dakota as if going around in circles on behalf of the court wasn't stressful enough. Maybe visit some quiet neighborhood will clear my head. I don't want to be part of your idea. Look, can I not be bothered for one game? You're not listening. There it is. The distinct vibe of Manhattan's residential area. And an unmistakable scent of casserole enveloping the surroundings in a heavenly aura. The atmosphere of desolation makes it feel more like purgatory, though. There's not a single soul in sight. And... oh, crap! Looks like I'm not alone after all. Some guy exerts himself, climbing a nearby tree. I instinctively take a step into the shadows to remain outside his line of sight, but I can barely see anything from where I stand. My inner voyeur is squirming for more details. I move a few steps closer, keeping to the shadows. For a good while, all I can hear is heavy panting. Come on, dude. This oak isn't even that tall. Sure looks like it's the first time the guy's ever tried climbing a tree. It takes a long time for the mysterious trespasser to steady his breath and carry on. As soon as he crawls out of the tree's crown, the dim streetlights reveals the face of a young guy in his early 20s. Against the spectacular night sky, and with his exaggeratedly tormented romantic gaze, he truly looks like a hero befitting the cover of a Harley Quinn paperback. He sizes up one of the longer branches. It seems sturdy enough, and nearly reaches a narrow window on the second floor. Still, the guy is hesitant. All right, no biggie, just eyes on the prize. He moves a few steps along the branch, his feet slipping every other step on his way to the window. By some inexplicable fluke, he manages to keep his balance. Once he makes it far enough, the branch slowly bends under his weight. He kneels down, probably calculating his chance to make it over to the windowsill. My guy, if you pull this off, it'll be a legit miracle. What? Is somebody there? Ah, shit. Should have been more careful. The trespasser pivots rapidly, startled by the sound of my voice. Just as he notices me, he loses his footing and dives straight into the front yard of the nearest house. Oh, shit! He drops to the ground with a muffled thump. Luckily for him, the lawn hasn't been trimmed for a while and tall grass cushions his landing. Somewhat. As soon as he recovers, the guy gets up and starts limping toward the fence. He tries to climb over, but quickly ends up back on the ground, clutching his leg in pain. He turns to me and starts begging under his nose. Hey, you! Shit! Please! I'm hurt! Do me a solid and open the gate! Well, with his ankle twisted, he's not going to get out of this mess on his own. And it's not like I'm particularly law-abiding. But I know how it goes. You save some poor wretch from a morally ambivalent situation, feel like a hero for a while, and then the universe faces you with the unforeseen consequences of your actions, and you feel like shit. Somewhere out there, the invisible scriptwriter of our lives yells, "Gotcha! Should have known the world's not black and white, fucker!" with glee. Sorry, but you're on your own here, buddy. Wait, don't leave me here, please! I take off just in time to avoid being noticed by a furious family man who barges through the front door and immediately lashes out at the trespasser. The soft voice of a young girl joins the ruckus after a few seconds, desperately pleading for forgiveness. Well, there's no denying they know each other. Shit. Maybe the world is a little less morally ambivalent than the prestige TV taught me. I walk away, feeling guilty and embarrassed. All of a sudden, the world ends. Everything stops. I'm lost in the darkness, and there's not even a heartbeat to guide me. It's like sleep paralysis, except it feels as if I suddenly woke up from reality instead of a dream. Instinctively, I react to it in the same way I used to react whenever I woke up in the middle of the night, aware, but not able to move or speak. I just wait for it to pass. But instead of slowly regaining control, I just see a bizarre room emerge from the darkness. Look at her, flesh refusing its fate. It is. It is not the one you were looking for, is it? He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as sheep is silent before the shearers, he did not open his mouth. There is none righteousness, not even one. There is none who understands. There is none who seeks for God. All have turned aside together. They have become useless. If anyone curses their mother or father, he must be put to death. Raging waves of the sea, foaming up to their own shame, wandering stars, for whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Whenever I become one with the darkness, there's always this nagging fear that it might be impossible to become the normal me again. That instead of the shadows returning to normal, I will let my consciousness be dragged somewhere else. Somewhere between the worlds. Somewhere like this. Wherever this is. This is the first time that fear has come true. Are you afraid? It's a bad idea to answer. Don't do it. Yes. Aha. Excellent. 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 I think I need to sit in this chair. I think I need to sit in this chair. I sit in the chair. Still in the lean years and unworthy of joining the rest, However, the path is open, and it is a path of obligation, liability, a debt that will be repaid one day. And when she asks you what brought you here, let your response be a scent of death. Suddenly, I feel my mind beginning to drift away from here. I am slowly starting to regain control over my thoughts. No, you aren't. Yes, I am. Fine. Think whatever you want. I find myself in a dark corner, leaning against a cold, wet brick wall. I think I'm conscious again, back from wherever it was, awake, but in an unfamiliar place. Well, let's just hope it's still in New York City. I emerge from the shadows to see where I am. A source of light above my head momentarily blinds me, causing me to instinctively raise my hand. As I do, I hit some sort of garbage bag with my hand. It falls to the floor, letting loose a metallic din. What the fuck? A woman. I feel her hand grabbing my clothes. She brutally drags me closer. With one of my hands already above my head, I raise the other. Easy, peace, I mean you no harm. How long have you been here? I don't know. I've got no idea what I'm doing here or in general. Really, it's like sometimes the forces I control figure out how to control me. What are you, a junkie? No, you're kindred. Yeah. Keep your shit together, damn it. I'm Julius Swaninsky, the representative of La Sombra in New York City. Camarilla? Uh-huh, I'm a Camarilla investigator. But if you came here to catch me, you're gonna be sorry you tried, Miss La Sombra. No, stop right there. I wasn't ordered to catch anybody. I'm just investigating Douglas Callahan's death. This surprises her. She loosens her grip slightly. Callahan is dead? Nothing left but a rotten carcass and a musty robe. Well, I'll be damned. I've been off the grid for too long. What brought you here? A memory from a different world pops up in my head. Yeah, I think I know the right answer. A scent of death. She lets me go. I rub my eyes and finally get a good look at her face. I think that's Tamika. She's gorgeous, and judging by her nomadic clothes and the particularly fierce aura, she's probably an outlander. Well, we'll have a talk, you and I. Sure. What's your name? Tamika. Pass me a smoke, will you? If only I could. My heart would skip a beat right now. Tamika. I guess, once again, somewhere out there led me to the proper path. Yeah, sure. When I pass her a cigarette, I realize I'm standing in something wet. Something that smells tasty. I look at my feet and see a puddle of water mixed with blood. Oh, I get it. Were these guys First Light? The high-powered guns and expensive-looking outfits, flashbangs, tasers, all chosen specifically to combat the undead. I recognize that equipment from some horror stories I've heard. First Light, see, Usacom, whatever they call themselves, they all bled out the same, usually before I have the chance to ask them a single question. Government-funded inquisitors. Some claim they're connected to the U.S. government. Some claim they're supported by the anti-kindred faction in the Holy See. Some have even wilder theories. You did this all by yourself? Have you seriously seen nothing? Nothing at all? I shake my head. Believe it or not, I have no idea how I got here. I just kind of let the shadows guide me. Is that a La Sombra thing? I've never actually talked to any of you. No idea what you guys can do, actually. Still learning my ropes myself. Go with the flow and all that. My embrace was just a few months ago. Huh, so you folks are with the Ivory Tower now? Last I checked, you were with the Sabbat. The cammies wouldn't forgive all the trouble you caused them overnight. Again, I'm practically still a neonate. I just know there's a lot of bad blood between my clan and the others, and that I can expect at least one glare of pure contempt whenever I visit Elysium. Ha! I see. We smoke in silence for a short while. So, are you acting alone? Is that personal curiosity, an investigator's curiosity, or collecting intel for Camarilla? Doesn't matter, I have nothing to hide. Yes, I'm alone. Every kindred on the East Coast benefits from these guys' death, but nobody wants to get involved. She flicks ash onto one of the bodies. Aren't they extremely dangerous? Almost got me for good last year. Took me a few weeks to get back in action. Then why are you doing this? Those motherfuckers have an unfortunate tendency to hurt people I care about. My brothers, my sisters. I see. I don't know how it is in the other cities, but here, funny enough, they only seem to target marginalized and radicalized kindred, ones that could theoretically pose a threat to the current order. Meanwhile, the establishment in New York City hasn't really changed ever since Calabros stepped down. Quite the opposite. Every SI raid in the city has only strengthened the old paradigm. Almost makes you think that their goal is something other than protecting the citizens from the blank body menace. Tamika throws her cigarette into the puddle, unfinished, and crushes it under her heel. She obviously has difficulty smoking. It's like she only ever tried it a few times. I assumed she saw me carrying a pack and decided to try it to calm her nerves after the battle. Or maybe she just wanted an excuse to make our conversation less awkward. Who knows? So, are you planning to snitch on me, Shadow Girl? And why would I do that? Let me get this straight. You really think I'm dumb enough to believe that you just so happen to stumble upon the alley where I just killed a bunch of SI motherfuckers? If so, you're the one who's dumb, sister. Looks like I need to show her I mean business. Just like I showed Natsia yesterday. Look, I couldn't give two shits whether you killed one or a dozen or 1,000 SI operatives. Whatever, do your thing. But I do think you might have been involved in a murder that actually concerns me. Callahan's murder. What? What are you talking about? I found this on his body. Well, what remained of it. I show her the note. She tries to grab it to read, but I don't let her. Aside from your name, we've got Hope, Agathon, and D'Angelo. You know them? Passingly. Any idea why Callahan would need a list of all of your names? I might know why, yeah. Do you? Absolutely. Do you know a man going by the name of Torque? Huh. Of course I do. Do you know about his connection to Boss Callahan and by proxy to this list and me? No, I'm all ears. Well, too bad, because it's classified intel, sister. What do you mean by classified? Not free. Oh, great. As if I were in the position to or could afford any sort of quid pro quo. But fine. Let's hear it. What do you want? She motions towards the bodies. I've killed too many of these assholes. They're tightening the screws. As it is, New York City is no longer safe for someone like me. Well, not that it ever was. Oh man. Bracing for something unreasonable. What I need is a way out of the city. You offer that to me, and I'll give you the intel you need. Huh. Would you look at that? That's something I can handle, actually, yeah. She raises her eyebrows. That's a surprisingly confident answer for a practically still a neonate. I'm something of an immigration officer. Psh, gotta say, you sound awfully close to a cop. Almost as bad. A bureaucrat. I know of a secret pathway that would lead you to the West Coast, 100% safe travel, and if you took it, you'd be untraceable. Sounds too good to be true. What's the catch? Wait until you see how much it costs. The only reason I know of this route is because a certain Nazi criminal group reached out to me on account of my position. and offered a mutually beneficial deal regarding illegal kindred travel. Normally I refused, but they offered me the only thing that can buy me a lot of cash. Ah, fine then, money is not an issue. Now that's something I never had a chance to ever say in earnest. Okay then. You should assist me first, then we'll figure out how to transport you out of the city. Hell no. Is this really the extent of your negotiation skills? Why would you think this kind of line would work? Well, I'm an optimist. Trying to be, at least. But yeah, we do need a way to open this deal that would satisfy both of us. Have you met Talk before? In the course of your investigation, or before? I wanted to, but on the Anarch side, I only managed to meet Mia. She wasn't keen on the idea of the two of us meeting. Ah, yes, Mia. Her expression betrays that she's got some vicious stories to tell, but it would be beneath her to divulge them. Too bad. Maybe it could be a bonding experience. So here's the thing. A few months ago, Torque and I were together. A lot of things happened, and a long story short, I no longer feel close to him. But from what I know, he still feels close to me. Back when I thought there might be something between us, I gave him a ring that has a lot of sentimental value to me. And since these days sentimentality is all that keeps me going, I want it back. So my suggestion is this. Tell Torque's people I sent you to get inside his base of operations, meet up with him, ask him your questions, and convince him to give me my ring back. You get to interrogate him, then I get to have my ring back. Then you hear my side of the story, then I get to leave the city with your help. Everybody wins, more than once. They will really let me in just because I tell them you sent me? They will. Trust me. That sounds too easy. What caused the two of you to drift apart? Irreconcilable differences in world views. Well, I assume so, but that's a diplomatic answer. If I'm gonna involve myself in the relationship drama of two ex-lovers, I need something more to go on. Will you? Yeah. She picks her words carefully. I realized I've become an element of his carefully crafted projected image. Having me as a radical partner allowed him to present himself as a mediator while paying lip service to revolutionary ideas. A mediator, that's 21st century for you. Everyone wants to be a middleman these days, and nobody wants to do what's right. You serious? Whenever I hear about Torque from the Insilla, they talk about him like he's the second coming of Mao. If he ever seemed like that, it's only because, from time to time, people like me pushed him into doing an uneasy thing. Ever heard of the southern wolf and the northern fox? Both of them want to eat you for dinner, but only the southern wolf makes it immediately obvious. The tricky northern wolf makes eyes and allows you to pet him before taking a bite. Torque loves to surround himself with northern foxes. They talk of compromises. They seem reasonable compared to the opposition, but at the end of the day, they have eyes on the same prize: power. Hearing this gives me a foreboding feeling, but I can't quite nail down why. All right, tell me where to go, and I'll tell you where we'll meet later. And that is where we're going to leave a story hour for today. Join me again next week, 5 o'clock Eastern Time at twitch.tv/ladyvinyl for a continuation of story time.